The global order is shifting and the world is witnessing a profound transformation in the balance of power. At the center of this change is the rapid expansion of the BRICS economic bloc, a coalition that is redefining international alliances and economic strategies. What began as a partnership between 5 major emerging economies, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has evolved into a much larger and more influential group. Recently, BRICS has welcomed Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates into its fold, expanding its reach across Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. With Saudi Arabia and Indonesia expected to join soon, the bloc is poised to become even more diverse and powerful, representing a wide array of cultures, resources, and ambitions. This isn't just about increasing membership, it's a fundamental recalibration of global influence, as countries seek new partnerships and alternatives to traditional Western-led institutions. The expanded BRICS Plus bloc now stretches across multiple continents, uniting nations with vast natural resources, growing economies, and significant geopolitical ambitions. Together, BRICS Plus countries represent nearly half the world's population, encompassing billions of people from diverse backgrounds and rapidly developing urban centers. In terms of purchasing power parity, the bloc now surpasses the G7 in economic output, signaling a major shift in the world's financial landscape and challenging the dominance of established economies. BRICS Plus also controls about 40% of global crude oil production, giving it significant leverage in energy markets and reshaping the geopolitics of oil and trade. Over 30 more nations, including Turkey, have expressed interest in joining, highlighting a growing global appetite for alternatives to the Western-led order and a desire for a more multipolar world. As BRICS Plus continues to grow, it signals a future shaped by multiple competing blocs, where no single power dominates and global influence is shared and contested on a new scale. A core goal of BRICS Plus is to reduce global reliance on the US dollar, a move known as de-dollarization. This ambitious effort is not just about currency, but about shifting the balance of global economic power. By challenging the dollar's dominance, BRICS Plus aims to create a more balanced and fair international financial landscape, where no single country holds overwhelming influence over others. For decades, the dollar's dominance has given the US immense leverage, allowing it to shape global trade, finance, and even politics. BRICS Plus wants a more multipolar financial system, where emerging economies have a stronger voice and greater autonomy in global affairs. This shift could reshape how countries interact and do business worldwide. Sanctions and tariffs from the West have pushed members like Russia, Iran, and China to seek alternatives. These measures have highlighted the risks of overdependence on the dollar, motivating BRICS Plus nations to find new ways to protect their economies and assert their sovereignty. BRICS nations are building their own payment systems and encouraging trade in local currencies, directly challenging the dollar's supremacy. By developing digital platforms and innovative financial technologies, they hope to make cross-border transactions smoother and less dependent on Western-controlled systems. The new development bank offers financing without Western strings attached, providing member countries with more flexibility and control over their development projects. This approach is designed to foster growth and cooperation on their own terms. While a single BRICS currency is distant, the bloc is focused on practical workarounds to build resilience. By strengthening financial ties and sharing technology, BRICS Plus is laying the groundwork for a more independent future. US threats of tariffs on countries moving away from the dollar only reinforce BRICS Plus' resolve for financial independence. As the world watches, the bloc's quest for economic sovereignty could redefine the rules of global finance for years to come. Canada, a G7 nation, is rethinking its economic future after recent turbulence with the US America First tariffs exposed Canada's vulnerability from over-reliance on a single trading partner. Political shifts in Washington have made trade unpredictable, sparking calls for diversification. BRICS Plus offers access to vast, fast-growing markets in Asia, Africa, and South America, an attractive prospect for Canadian exports. Partnering with BRICS could provide more stable trade relationships, less subject to US political whims. This isn't an ideological shift, but a pragmatic move to secure Canada's economic future in a changing world. As global power shifts eastward, Canada must decide how to position itself for resilience and growth. Joining BRICS Plus could give Canada greater financial sovereignty, opening doors to new partnerships and economic alliances that extend far beyond its traditional ties. By engaging with a broader coalition of emerging economies, Canada can diversify its financial relationships and reduce its reliance on a single dominant partner. This move could also help reduce exposure to U.S. monetary policy, giving Canada more flexibility to chart its own economic course and respond to global shifts on its own terms. Access to alternative financial channels would insulate Canada from the impact of sanctions and economic shocks, making the country's economy more resilient in an unpredictable world. Membership would give Canada a seat at the table in shaping new global economic rules, allowing it to participate in the creation of frameworks that govern international trade and finance, rather than simply reacting to decisions made by others. Access to BRICS plus markets means new opportunities for Canadian industries to expand their reach, tap into fast-growing economies, and build lasting trade relationships. This could benefit sectors from agriculture and natural resources to advanced technology and manufacturing, fueling innovation and growth at home. Preferential trade agreements could boost exports, create high-quality jobs, and strengthen Canada's position in the global marketplace, transforming Canada into a truly global trading nation with connections spanning every continent. As a middle power, Canada could amplify its influence by bridging the G7 in the global south, acting as a connector and mediator in international affairs. This unique role would let Canada advance its values of inclusivity, democracy, and sustainability, while also protecting its interests in a more diverse and dynamic coalition of nations. Ultimately, BRICS plus membership could elevate Canada's global stature, enhance its policy impact, and secure a more prosperous future for generations to come. The risks for Canada are real. Chief among them, backlash from the US, which sees BRICS as a direct challenge. Joining BRICS Plus could trigger tariffs, trade barriers, and strain Canada's most vital alliances. It would complicate intelligence sharing and security ties with the G7 and Five Eyes, raising questions about Canada's loyalties. Aligning with countries like China, Russia, and Iran could create ideological dilemmas and accusations of hypocrisy. Canada could also get entangled in internal BRICS rivalries, undermining its influence instead of enhancing it. BRICS Plus is far from unified. Its members span democracies and authoritarian regimes, creating deep tensions. China's economic dominance causes unease, especially for India, which competes for leadership in the global south. Long-standing rivalries like those between India and China or Saudi Arabia and Iran threaten group cohesion. The bloc's new development bank is still underpowered compared to Western institutions and relies on the dollar it seeks to challenge. Internal divisions and competing interests make consensus difficult. For BRICS Plus to rival the G7, it must overcome these fractures and build stronger institutions. Otherwise, its potential as a global alternative remains limited. Canada stands at a crossroads. Should it deepen ties with BRICS Plus or remain anchored to the West? As a bridge, Canada could foster dialogue between the G7 and BRICS Plus, championing inclusive, rules-based cooperation. This would enhance its influence and help shape a more balanced global order. But the move could also backfire, isolating Canada from old allies while failing to gain full trust from new partners. The stakes are high economic diversification and global influence versus the risk of losing critical alliances. Canada's choice will shape not just its own future, but the direction of the global balance of power. The world is watching to see if Canada becomes a bridge or a casualty of a new multipolar era.